Test. Om Shri Padmatmane Namaham. Namaste, devotees, and Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our Sunday morning service this beautiful December 5th, 2021. I know it's been some time since we all last met and reconvened together, but we are very glad to be back doing our virtual services here for the month of December. At this time, devotees, as we do always, I ask that you join together with me as we go ahead and prep our minds for our virtual Sunday morning service. As we join together in singing this very beautiful bhajan before we commence with our prayers. स्वागत सबजन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। ईश सगुण निर्गुण विनाशी, मात पिता यार। ईश सगुण निर्गुण विनाशी, मात पिता यार। तोर भाई हम वास्त सदाई, तोर भाई हम वास्त सदाई, तार हमें संसार। स्वागत सभजन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। तीर्थ भाया गोद लगावे, पुण्य या परिसार। तीर्थ भाया गोद लगावे, पुण्य या परिसार। संगति संतन नीम चलावे, संगति संतन नीम चलावे, शोभन सब व्यवहार। स्वागत सभजन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। रंजन सब नर नार, रंजन सब नर नार। And now, devotees, at this time, I ask that you all join together with me as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your shoulders, your spine, relax your neck, and relax your forehead. Relax your entire body. With your eyes closed, take some time to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you, one that helps you focus, and join together with me as we chant these opening prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Ishavasyam Miram Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagatina Tyaktina Bhunjita Magrudhakasya Svidhanam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Let's all join together now, devotees, as we commence in chanting the most powerful Gayatri Mantra. Om Nagakshe Varare Devi Akshare Brahmavadini Gayatri Jagat Matar Vishwayoni Namostute. Om Bhure Bhuvaswa Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhure Bhuvaswa तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् हरि ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम प्रेम स्वर गायत्री माता की जय. As we begin our prayers to remain devotees, we offer obediences and prayers to that destroyer and remove of all obstacles in our life. We offer prayers to Lord Ganesh. Om Shri Ganapataye Namah. Om Ganjananam Bhuta Ganadhi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palachara Bhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Vignesh Varapada Pankajam Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabham Nirviganam Kurumi Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Raksha Raksha Ganadhaksham Rakshatre Lokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Kartha Trata Bhava Bhavaranavar Om Shriman Mahaganadhipataye Namaham. Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Ladon Kabhonga Lage Santa Kari Seva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Ekarantadaya Vanta Chara Bhuja Bhari Mat ki Sindur Sohe Musake Sawari Dukiyo ke Dukha Harta Paramananda De Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. अंधन को आंख देते कुरियन को खाया भंजन की पुत्र जीती निर्धन कुमाया भाव से पर करो नाथ भजन करो तेरा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. जो तेरा ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको छोड़ तुझे और भल जाऊं मैं किसको हे देव कृपा करो कष्ट हरो मेरा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Ladwana Kabhonga Lage Santa Kare Seva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Jai Ganesha Deva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Shriman Mahaganadhipataye Namah. Prem se Bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki jai. As we continue on with our prayers, devotees, we offer obediences to that mother of knowledge and learning, especially for those who are still studying and in school right now. I know that a lot of you have exams coming up in the next 2 weeks or so. We pray to that mother of knowledge and learning. We pray for clarity of mind, strength and focus. We offer prayers to Mother Saraswati. Om Saraswati Mahabhagye Vidye Kamalalochine Vidyarupe Vishalakshi Vidyam Dehi Namostute Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhiram Bhavatu Me Sada Siddhiram Bhavatu Me Sada Om Ha Saraswati Namo Namah Prem Swara Saraswati Mata Ki Jai. We also offer prayers and obediences to that universal mother and that destroyer of all evils in our lives. That mother that exists in many forms and emotions, we offer prayers to Adi Shakti, Durga Mata. Om Maha Durgai Namaham. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhandra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swatha Namostute Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Putharate Niharadini Jai Sarvagate Devi Kale Ratri Namostute Adevi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnu Mayeti Shabdita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samsita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samsita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Tushti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Daya Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. As we pray to Mother Durga, we say, O Durga Mata, Thou art the supporter of all, and we, your children, worship you in your many forms. O Ma, we see you as Buddhi, wisdom, Lakshmi, prosperity, Shakti, energy, Shraddha, faith, Shanti, peace, Tushti, contentment, and Daya, compassion. And as we pray to you, O Ma, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. As we pray to you, O Ma, we bow to thee again and again. Devotees, we offer prayers to Mother Durga in the form of the Universal Mother, Matri Rupe. Ya Devi Sarvam Bhuteshu, Matri Rupena Samstita, Namastasye, Namastasye, Namastasye Namo Namah. Dehi Sambhagyam Arogyam, Dehi Me Paramam Sukham, Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi, Yesho Dehi Dvasho Jahi. Mahadundaranghai Namaham, Prem Swarwari Shakti Durgai Matai Namaham. Om Prem Swarwari Shakti Durga Mata Ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers, devotees, we offer obediences to the most influential beings in our life. Those beings that constantly rotate around and determine when we can perform certain actions, do certain things, worship certain rituals. Those beings that affect our temperament, the name that we're given, and every single value, and every single moment of our entire lives. We offer prayers to the Navgraha Devata, also referred to as the 9 planets. Om Navgraha Devataya Namaham. Bharbrahma Murari Strupura Sakari Bhanu Shashi Bhumi Sutom Budhasya Guruscha Shukraha Shani Rahu Ketu Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu. As we continue on with our prayers to the Navagraha Devata, we offer obediences to that being that exists in the form of the sun, especially considering that today is Sunday, that sustainer of all life on this planet, that sustainer of warmth and good feelings. We offer prayers to Surya Narayan Bhagwan. Om Suryaya Namaha, 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 Suryaya Namaha. Adineva Namastubhyam Prasidha Mama Bhashkaram Divakaranamastubhyam Prabhakaranamostute Suryaya Namaha, Suryaya Namaha, Suryaya Namaha, Suryaya Namaha. Om Prem se bolo Navagraha Devata ki jai, Prem se bolo Surya Narayan Bhagwan ki jai. As we continue to offer our prayers, devotees, we pray and offer obediences that the sustainer of all things dharmic and all things righteous in this universe. We offer praise to Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Vishnu Namaha. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashairam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagane Sadrisham Megavaranam Shubhangam Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalinayanam Yonki Bhiradhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhaya Haram Sarvaloke Kanatam Om Sashankha Chakram Sakiritha Kundhalam Sapita Ostram Sarasiruhekshanam Sahara Vakshastala Shobhikostubha Shriyam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. And finally, devotees, we offer prayers to that universal Father and that universal Guru, to that destroyer of all evils in our life and in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Karapurangauram Karunavataram Samsara Saram Bhujakimbraharam Sadha Santam Hirdayarunde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namam Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Devotees, we offer this next prayer for all those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, and ailments. We ask that they may have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer a prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. We ask that their passage may be a smooth and tranquil one. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushnivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshyo mamrutat. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshyo mamrutat. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshyo mamrutat. Om Gangadapate Namaha. Om Kartike Namaha. Om Nandishwaraya Namaha. Om Vasuki Namaha. Om Shri Sambasana Shivaya Namaha. Prem se bola Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki jai. Devotees, before we move on to our sermon and reading from the Srimad Bhagavad Puran again, or continuing on with our reading from the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, I once again want to thank Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani, as well as Geeta Samlal for recording some bhajans and sending them in. They actually recorded these a few weeks ago before we had to cancel service for the rest of November, and they were still doing their diligent duty of recording songs and sending them in for all of us to listen to here during our virtual Sunday morning satsang. So we'll pan over and listen to those very beautiful bhajans at this time, and then we'll come back and commence with our sermon.
Today, I will try to chant some chaupai from the Ramayana. Om, Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. 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 Ram Kahani suno ve Ram Kahani. Ram Kahani suno ve Ram Kahani. कहता सुनाता आवे, कहता सुनाता आवे, आँखियों में पानी। राम कहानी सुनो वे राम कहानी। राम कहानी सुनो वे राम कहानी। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। आदरत प्रभु प्रभु का सोए, कदपि कहे बिन रहा न कोई। कदपि कहे बिन रहा न कोई। सीताराम चरति अति पावन। सीताराम चरति अति पावन। मधुर सरसु अरु अति मन भावन। मधुर सरसु अरु अति मन भावन। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। राम लखन सिया रमत अरन। राम लखन सिया रमत अरन। करत बिरत मुनियन को धन। करत भिरत मुनि अन को धन। राम लखन सिया रमत अरन। राम लखन सिया रमत अरन। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। दशरथ के राजा दुलारे, कौशल्या की आंख की तारे। दशरथ के राजा दुलारे, कौशल्या की आंख की तारे। वे सूर्य वंश के सूर्य जा, वे रघुकुल देव जियारे। राजी उन्नयन बोले, राजी उन्नयन बोले। मधुवर बानी राम कहानी सुनो रे राम कहानी। राम कहानी राम कहानी सुनो रे राम कहानी, राम कहानी सुनो रे राम कहानी। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। ऐसे भक्त कहा जग में से भगवान, ऐसे भक्त कहा जग में से भगवान। काल है पर दो वीर बिचाकर, चले वीर हनुमान। ओ काल है पर दो वीर बिचाकर, चले वीर हनुमान। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। सागर शिव ही नाई अब माता, बरनव बिसजी गाम गुण दाता। सागर शिव ही नाई अब माता, बरनव बिसजी गाम गुण दाता। संपत सोरे सैरिक दीसा, करऊ कथा हरिबद हरि सीसा। संपत सोरे सैरिक दीसा, करऊ कथा हरि बद हरि सीसा। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, 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 श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
जय विघ्नेश्वर जय जय, जय रामोदर जय जय, जय गणनायक जय सुखदायक, जय जय गणेश जय जय। जय विघ्नेश्वर जय जय, जय विघ्नोदर जय जय, जय गणनायक जय सुखदायक, जय जय गणेश
Once again, I want to thank Uncle Walter and Auntie Sarani for recording those chowpais from the Sri Ram Charitamrita. Very beautiful verses to listen to. And then for Geeta for recording that very beautiful Lord Ganesh bhajan and sending it in for us to listen to as well. Thank you all so much for your time and dedication, for continuing to record and send songs and for us to listen to live during our virtual Sunday morning services. Devotees, before we commence with our sermon for today, I ask that you join together with me, for those of us who have a guru, to offer a prayer to our guru. If not, then I ask that you take Lord Shiva as the universal guru, or any deva in your mind that you so choose as your universal guru, and join together with me as we offer this prayer. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah. Om Dhana Moolam Gurur Murti Puja Moolam Gurur Param Mantra Moolam Gurur Bhakyam Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripar Prem Se Guru Guru Deo Ki Jai. Narayana 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 Shriman 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 Narayana 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 Krishna 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 Narayana 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 Shrimad Narayana 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 Shrimad Narayana 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 Shrimad Narayana 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 Shrimad Narayana Narayana Narayana. I know it's been a few weeks, devotees, since we've had our last sermon, but in the last turn, we were discussing Canto 1, Chapter 2 of the Srimad Bhagavad Puran. That chapter is known as Divinity and Divine Service, and last time we ended on verse 18, in which Sri Suta Goswami Srila Suta Goswami had ended by telling the sages that he was sitting with, by regularly of being service to the Bhagavata, to being a pure devotee, and the Bhagavatam, as good as all that is inauspicious, will be destroyed, and thus serving the Supreme Lord with transcendental prayers, irrevocably loving service will come about. Not being affected by the effects of passion. So we ended on verse 19. Well, we were going to start verse 19 because Suta Goswami is essentially telling us how we can be serviceable, how we can be pure devotees. What is a pure devotee? What does somebody who is pure and devoted look like? There is purity and there's devotion, and then we have both of those things combined. So in these last few verses we talk about in chapter 2, starting on verse 19, he states to all the sages, not being affected by the effects of passion and ignorance, such as lust, greed, and all of that, one's consciousness will be fixed in goodness, and at that moment find happiness. So breaking that down, because this is for me very important. How do we find happiness? How do we find happiness in this world? We don't be affected by passion. Passion we talked about. It's one of the three modes of material nature. Sattva guna, tamaguna, and rajaguna. Passion is one of those. Passion and ignorance are two of them. He says that if you are not affected by the effects of passion and ignorance, and he gives you example, lust, wanting something very extremely, greed, wanting something that somebody else has, things along those lines, whether it be house, money, emotions, physical attributes, not working about anything physical in this world. You'll be fixed in goodness, sattva guna, and at that moment you will find happiness. So it sounds easy, right? Don't be fixed on negative emotions. Don't be fixed on negative things. That's really hard, though, to be not fixed on negative emotions or negative things. How do I know that? I myself have some emotions like this all the time. Attachments to the physical world. Attachments to the physical things around me. I have my Nintendo Switch over there. Yes, I play video games every once in a while. And the other day I was like, you know what? I want to get myself a little treat. So I decided to buy myself a new case to put onto my Nintendo Switch. I liked it because it was shiny and had a bunch of colors to it. I really shouldn't be affected by so many physical material things in this world. Shouldn't be affected by that Switch too much. There's so much beyond the world of technology that we're not focusing on because we're so focused on these little screens in front of us, whether it be our Nintendo Switches, our PlayStations, Xboxes, iPhones, iPads, watches, pagers, beepers. Some of those things I'm talking about are a little outdated. I understand that. But if we don't fix ourselves on those things, we'll find goodness and we'll be happy. In touch with devotional service of the Lord, being thus cleared, the mind, liberated because of the association, then becomes effective in the knowledge of the wisdom regarding the fortunate one. Focus on your goal. If you focus on your goal, you become effective in that thing. College teaches us that very well. We have to choose a specific major, and then we have to focus our minds on studying to make sure we attain the expertise and be effective in that major. I couldn't call myself a biomedical engineer if I didn't go all the way through college and take my biomedical engineering courses. Serena couldn't call herself a full artist if she didn't go and learn new and different techniques to help understand and make her art better. You know, my dad couldn't be as effective of an airport manager if he didn't go to university and get his degree in airport management. Aviation management. I'm sorry, I combined so many words. Aviation management. My mother couldn't be a good nurse unless she went to nursing school and learned how to talk to patients, treat patients, how to utilize things like IVs and needles, or even how to understand the functions of the kidney as well as she does. Seeing the true self that way as being the master, the knot in the heart is cut to pieces, all doubts end, and the chain of material motivated actions is terminated. We don't have to worry so much about the things that we need to do materially, because we see the truth, we know the truth. Well, there's a truth. The truth isn't what's in this world. The truth is what's beyond. Therefore, all transcendentalists have always delighted in the service of Bhagwan Krishna. It enlivens the soul. The ultimate benefit of the transcendental personality, who is associated with the qualities of material nature of goodness, passion, and ignorance, and with the maintainer Vishnu, the creator Brahma, and the destroyer Shiva, the human being, of course, finds in the forms of goodness, Bhagwan Vishnu. The way we have the firewood of sacrifices stemming from the earth, producing smoke, once being set afire, so we also have a passion stemming from ignorance, leading to the goodness from which the essential nature is realized. That's a very tough line to actually understand. Because in that line, we talk about passion and ignorance, but somehow it leads to goodness. We as human beings have to live as human beings. When you're born in the mode of goodness. That makes sense. Because when you're a baby, you're innocent. You don't have an understanding of the world. You don't know what good versus bad is. I think one of my favorite things is that a baby doesn't know discrimination. They don't care if you are heavy set or very skinny. They don't care if you're black or white. They don't care what the color of your skin is. They don't care, quote unquote, what caste you're in. Yeah, a baby may like their parents more because that's who they're around most often. But a baby doesn't discriminate. A child doesn't discriminate. Puppies, kittens, young animals also don't discriminate. Bella would bite Serena just as hard as she would bite me when she was a puppy. She didn't care. But she also loves equally as well. Because the modes of ignorance and passion were never instilled into them. As we grow as humans, those modes of ignorance and passion get instilled into us. They get pushed into us in some way, shape, or form for some reason or the other. In order for us to grow in life, what this verse is saying, in order for us to grow in life, to become good people, we have to make the mistakes. We have to understand what passion and ignorance is. For me, I think preaching is a little bit easier because I've made my mistakes in life. I've been very passionate about certain things. I've been very ignorant around certain things. I'm still passionate and ignorant around certain things. But if I don't take the time to learn from the moments I'm very passionate or the moments I'm very ignorant, I will never grow as a person. I will never become a good person. We take the things that we do in life, we've got to learn from them. You right now are not in the mode of goodness every single second of every single day. No human truly is. How do we become good? We take those modes of passion and ignorance, we learn from them. We set them ablaze, let the smoke come out, acquire us, and become that goodness. That smoke is the goodness from all of us. So again, he says, the way we have firewood of sacrifices stemming from the earth, producing smoke once being set afire, so we also have passion stemming from ignorance, leading to goodness from which the essential nature is realized. Your essential nature is realized through goodness, but the only way you can get there sometimes is through passion and ignorance. Don't think that I'm telling you don't be passionate or don't be ignorant, because those are things that we have to go through in life sometimes. That's what makes us grow, but that's what makes us better people. The most important thing here is that if you are going to be passionate or ignorant, if you're going to get in a fight with somebody, and if you're wrong, be willing to admit that you made a mistake. Be willing to learn from that and go on and grow, be a little bit better. We as humans need to communicate as well. Passion stems from people having different ideas and different opinions. Don't let that passion tear the connection you have with another living being. It's not worth it. Communication is so important. At the end of the day, we may have different opinions. That doesn't mean we can't get along. It doesn't mean we can't get along. Whoever follows the sages, who in the past thus rendered service to the transcendental Lord above the three modes of material nature, deserves the same benefit. So, if you're in the presence of good people, if you're acting good with good people, then you deserve the same benefit as those good people. That doesn't mean if you've done a bunch of sin and you go sit with a bunch of sages that you're going to be good and get a bunch of benefits. You still have to act according to that. Understand the words that they're saying. Live by the words that they're saying. It's the reason why those who desire liberation reject the less attractive forms of the demigods and without any envy worship the many forms of all blissful Shri Vishnu, Narayana, Srimad Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Those who are ignorant and of passion desire glory, power, and progeny, and are of worship for forefathers and other beings of cosmic control in the same category of their preference. So those who are ignorant and of passion, they desire a few things. They desire glory. It's all about them. They want their name to be the most popular thing. They want to be people to talk about them and laugh and be joyous about them. They look for power. Power is not a good thing to have. It's not a good thing to have. Power corrupts. Power spoils. Power darkens our souls. And progeny and are of worship of forefathers. Again, these are all things that we want. When we have children, we're bringing kids into this world to hopefully live by the words of Bhagwan, to hopefully become good people. Whether you have a son or a daughter is irrelevant. Bhagwan Vishnu, Bhagwan Krishna have stated in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita that everybody is born equally. We're all made of the same material. We're all in the same existence. We all need to be treated fairly. But Vasudeva is the object of Vedic knowledge. The purpose of sacrifice in the path of yoga, Vasudeva is the controller of all material activity. The highest knowledge, we say Vasudeva, Narayan, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, Bhagwan Vishnu. Highest knowledge, the strictest austerity, the best quality, and the supreme Dharma, and the ultimate goal in life. From the beginning of the manifestation, he, by his internal potency, has been the cause and effect of all forms and the transcendental absolute of the modes of material nature. Although he, manifesting by the modes, having entered them, appears to be affected by the modes, he is the full manifestation of all wisdom. He, as the supersoul, pervades all living beings as the source of creation, like fire does in the wood, and shines forth as different living entities, and at the same time being the absolute person. Bhagwan is here, Bhagwan is there, Bhagwan is everywhere. Even though we live in this material world, which is Maya, an illusion, and even though we see the three modes of material nature, we can't assume that Bhagwan is those three modes. He's everything and he is anything. He's not anything separate, but he's not anything together. He resides in every living being. Bhagwan is here, Bhagwan is there, Bhagwan is everywhere. We talk about that all the time. So the next time we're in a conversation with someone, again, trying to remove the modes of passion and ignorance from our lives. Let's say we're in a conversation with someone and that turns into a very passionate conversation. If you're in a very passionate conversation, you can't break that passion because of the conversation or through conversation. You break the conversation. For me, in Serena, and I recommend this for any couple, if you are having a heated conversation and you cannot agree on something, take a break. Just take a break. Go to separate areas of the house. Maybe one of you goes to the store, one of you goes and works in the yard. Take a break, breathe, think about what just happened. Ask yourself, was I in the wrong? And then tell yourself where you were in the wrong. Don't ever ask yourself, was I in the wrong? Say, no, I wasn't in the wrong. You were in the wrong some way, shape, or form. The way you worded your sentence, the vernacular that you used, the connotations that you used. Take all of that information together, analyze it, and then come back to the table and have your conversation again. Remove the mode of ignorance and be in the mode of good. A good person learns from their passion and they learn from their ignorance. Why? Because every living being in this world is a form of Bhagwan. If Bhagwan Shri Krishna was sitting in front of you, if Mother Sita was sitting in front of you, if Mother Lakshmi was sitting in front of you, if Lord Shiva was sitting in front of you, think about how you would talk to them, how you would resolve a situation if you had a conflict with them. That super soul created the subtle senses influenced by the modes of nature by entering the living beings in his own creation, causing them to enjoy those modes. Thus, he maintains all of them in the mode of goodness, being incarnated himself in the performance of his pastimes as the master of all the worlds of the divine humans and animalistic beings. It says that he causes us to enjoy these modes. Bhagwan Vishnu resides in every one of us. Bhagwan Spark of God, that spark resides in every single one of us. That gives us life, and that life allows us to enjoy the modes of material nature, to understand the modes of material nature. But he says, thus he maintains all of them in the mode of goodness. Remember what I said at the very beginning here. When Bhagwan enters and we start life in the mode of goodness, no matter what. We can't call everybody who's born a sinner. We can't call everybody who's born in the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. You can't call a baby ignorant. A baby doesn't know any better. A young being doesn't know any better. We can't call them passionate. They don't know what that is. We can only call them good because they're not attached to anything. They're free from the material world. Yeah, they require food and sustenance to move, to live, to grow. But what human doesn't? Even those who are given everything in life, it says that you focus on Bhagwan, but you still maintain your body as best as you can. We're all born naturally good. Over time, there is corruption that enters our mind, enters our body, but doesn't affect our soul. It just affects our mindsets and how we change and how we do things. It may affect where our soul goes. He maintains all of us in a mode of goodness. Don't ever let passion and ignorance overcome your life and overcome the goodness that's born of your soul. Do good things in this world. Be good to people. Be good to yourself. Worship Bhagwan. Understand why we do the things that we do and how we do them. My biggest thing here going forward and making you all understand what being good is that whenever we have discussions with people, take some time to understand the discussion, especially between older and younger folks. What I hear a lot from some people who come to me and ask questions about what they do is, thank you so much for explaining that. Nobody ever explains it. All we always get told is that's exactly how it is, or don't question me, that's what my authority says. If somebody asks you a question and you can't explain anything part of that question, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know. There's nothing shameful about saying, I don't know. There's nothing that will ruin you saying, I don't know. If you think you're going to be ruined because somebody says, or you have to say, I don't know, then you're way, way too prideful. People yearn for knowledge. We become good by knowledge. So next time, for those of you out there, let's say a young child comes up and asks you a question, why do we do this? They're hesitant to do something, but they ask you, why do we do this? Don't just say because I said so. Don't say because I told you so. Explain to them why you need to do it. If for some reason somebody older in your life told you to do it when you were a kid and you don't know the answer, maybe go seek the answer. See if what you're doing is truly correct or not. Live in the mode of goodness. Don't live in the mode of ignorance. Don't live in that mode where we assume that everything we need to do is told to us by somebody and it was never explained. We don't need to pass that down through our generations. We don't need to pass that down to one another. Everybody has a reason that they're doing something. Explain your reasoning. Be a good person. Share love, share happiness, and share kindness. Be good in this world. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. Prem se bolo Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki jai. Devotees, I do promise, starting next week as we move in, and that, is the end of Chapter 2. Canto 1, Chapter 2 of the Srimad Bhagavad Puran. Starting next week, we will be moving into Chapter 3, and I actually do have a musical way of doing things. It will be a little bit longer because the verses are a little bit longer and more complex, so I do ask that you bear with me as we continue our readings through the Srimad Bhagavad Puran and making sure that we can have some musical nature behind it, but also an explanation that's thorough, because a lot of the lines repeat and talk about the same thing, but I want to make sure that we're covering everything as thoroughly as possible, because remember what we did when we started chapter 1. Every single line has a specific meaning, has a specific thing that we as humans need to interpret, and everything we need to learn to grow to be good people in life. So again, I do thank you all for your time and understanding with me as we interpret the Srimad Bhagavad Puran and as we go through this venture together. As always, devotees, before we commence, or before we conclude with our service for today, and before we have our announcements, I ask that you go ahead and join together with me as you clasp your hands and close your eyes. At this time, I want you to take some time to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you. Make sure that your body's relaxed as you do so. Keep all of your mind and your thoughts, keep all of your energy focused on that form of Bhagwan, and join together with me as we chant these closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschita Dugabhag Bhavet Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktahinam Janardanam Yatya Pujitam Maya Deva Paripurnam Dharastu Me Papoham Papo Karmaham Papo Atma Papo Sambhuat Rahimam Pundarikaksham Sarva Papo Haru Hari Om Tvameva Matascha Pitha Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Satoma Sargamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mritam Gamaya Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Om Shantir Antarikshangam Shantir Prithvi Shantir Abha Shantir Aushadhe Shantir Vanaspati Shantir Vishwadeva Shantir Brahma Shantir Sarvegum Shantir Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantireti Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Saraswati Mata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Navgraha Devata ki Jai. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shiva Shakti Mandir ki Jai. Prem se bolo Sanatana Dharma ki Jai. Devotees, with this, we've come to the end of our Sunday morning satsang, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today with us and joining in as we continue to do our virtual Sunday morning services. Just a few announcements here, devotees. We do have our 2022 calendars. We have them in our possession. We're still trying to figure out a good way to get them over to the Mandir. We're probably going to do the same thing where we leave them in a locked bin outside. And for those of you who'd like to go pick one up, you're more than welcome to stop by the Mandir, pick them up. We just ask that you close that bin. I'll have a better announcement for you on that one next week. Just know that we do have the calendars and we are working to get them to you all as best as we can. I'm also working on our Mandir calendar for next year in terms of what our events are going to be, when we're going to be worshiping and performing those pujas. So once I'm done with that, I'll make sure that I send it over to Elise, our secretary, to email out to every single one of you. So that way you can have that information on your calendars as well. But in regards to the opening of Mandir, I do not have any announcements on that one just yet. We're still kind of ascertaining and understanding a few new things going on with COVID, especially with the new variant that is currently in play, the Omicron variant. My biggest urge to all of you is that when we decide to open up the Mandir back, we do highly encourage for those of you who are not vaccinated to at least attempt to get vaccinated. If you don't want to, perfectly understand, that is your choice. I do urge you to still try, maybe consider getting a vaccination. But if you do not want to, my other ask is that if you decide to come to Mandir when we open it back up, that you do still take safe precautions, that we all wear masks, that we stay as social distance as possible. We try to reduce the risk of any sorts of contamination or spreading of anything that any of us may have. So when we do open up Mandir, I do ask for you all to keep that in mind, keep that being very cognizant at the forefront of your minds, that we still want to be safe and we don't want to spread anything around to anybody at all. I do want to make a quick thank you to every single person on behalf of my mom, my family, and my entire mom's side as well. As most of you know, we had to cancel services for the month of November because my mom's younger sister, my Aruna Mosi, had passed away, and we were trying to deal with moving to New Jersey and performing the funeral and then coming back here and doing the final rites. Everything went extremely smoothly. I know that her soul is moving on, and it is going to have a safe, comfortable journey as it moves through the next life, and as it merges with our ancestors. We'll come on Preta to a Pitri. So on behalf of my entire family, I want to thank each and every one of you for your love and support, for those words of encouragement, and for keeping us in your thoughts during that very difficult time. But just, again, letting you all know everything went very smoothly. We were able to get all of the work done, the funeral work, 10-day work, 11-day work, the 12-day work. We also did a Panchak Shanti Vidhi, and we also performed the Sapindi rites and offered the gifts for my Arunamosi. So thank you, each and every one of you, for your love and support during that very, very difficult time. Before I continue on with our last announcements for birthdays and anniversaries, I do want to say Sita Ram to Indira Didi, to my Tim Dabbit, Ashwarya and Tejas. I know you guys are watching at home. I see you chatting there. And then to Geeta Samwal, Sita Ram to you, to your brother, your mom and dad as well. Thank you all for tuning in and continuing to chat. For anybody else who watches, go ahead and put something in the chat. I'd like to talk to you all a little bit more. It makes it a little bit more interactive for me when you all are chatting and saying things, or maybe making comments about the sermon, because now I know I'm not just talking to a camera, but I'm actually talking to people. So, for those of you who are watching, if you know how to use the chat function, try using it a little bit more often. I'll make a request for that next week. In regards to birthdays, we do have a good number of birthdays that we never got a chance to announce because we didn't have service over the past few weeks. So first and foremost, in regards to November birthdays, I don't believe we had a remarkable ton. Let me make sure I have them all written down here. I'm probably going to recover a few of them. So to Auntie Babs and to Auntie Chandra, who celebrated their birthdays on the 8th November, happy birthday to both of you. To Auntie Sarani, who celebrated her birthday on the 10th, very happy birthday to you. To Auntie Savi, who celebrated her birthday on the 16th, happy birthday to you. Felicia celebrated her birthday on the 20th of November, happy birthday. To Ryan Sukteo, young Ryan, happy birthday to you. He celebrated his birthday on the 25th. And to Priya and to Zeke, who celebrated their birthdays on the 14th, happy birthdays to both of you. And we also had 2 anniversaries in the month of November. So to Auntie Deomati and Uncle Rick, very happy anniversary to you both. And to Auntie Janet and Uncle Ballroom, happy birthday to you both as well. We also had some family members of ours who celebrated some birthdays. So to my Denny Poopa, I don't know if he's back from Guyana now, or if he's still there, or if he's up in New Jersey. I know they were doing some work at their temple down in Guyana. Happy birthday to you. To Chantel, very happy birthday to you as well. And to Kevin, I guess I've never called you Kevin Dabbit, but to Kevin Dabbit, happy birthday to you. For December, we had a number of birthdays as well. So for my Dave Mosi and for my cousin, or my Derek Dada, happy birthday to you both. From the Mundar, Natasha Sahid celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday to you. To Sister Tiffany, happy birthday to you as well. And to my cousin Jasmine, very happy birthday to you as well. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything else. And then I know today, it's a very special day for, technically she's my niece, but I've been calling her my cousin because we're the same age. So to Sita, I believe your last name is now Chapel or Chapel. I don't know how to say it or enunciate. I apologize. Or I could say Jugnanan. To my cousin or / niece Sita, very happy birthday to you. Today is actually her birthday. I hope today is extremely wonderful for you, filled with a lot of happiness and joy. Lots of hugs and kisses from family, friends, and everybody. And I hope you have a wonderful day celebrating. To everybody who celebrated your birthday, same thing. I hope you had wonderful days, wonderful times. To those of you celebrating anniversaries, I hope you have plenty of love and joy in your lives as you continue to move forward in your relationships. And with that being said, devotees, I want to thank you all for your time and your continued support with us as we continue our virtual Sunday morning services. I know today is going to be a little bit icky. The rest of the week is going to be a little bit icky for those of us who live in Georgia. There's going to be a lot of rain. So make sure you keep your windows sealed as properly as possible. Move any plants around as you need to. Keep things protected. It'll be a little bit colder too, but you all stay safe, stay healthy, check in on one another, be good, and have a wonderful week. Jai Sita Ram, everyone.